So now we're going to go into vehicle combat with a different situation set up so you can kind of see. It is combat here. Now, for all purposes, this guy is going to have the machine gun. He has to discard 1 ammo because the little blue marker at the bottom there shows what blue, so that means I have to discard 1 blue. This is how you splatter dice. I get the roll, and this is the range of the weapon. I'm within range, so the red is going to attack the blue. So, for all purposes, you only can attack 1 person per turn. You will discard the card that I discarded, which will be fuzzy dice, or discard the nitrous oxide card. So, now let's say my opponent had only 3 hits on there, 3 cards left for hit points. So, we're going to roll these 3 dice and see if we do any damage. He got off scot-free. So, however, if the result looked at something more like this, I would have done the 3 hits, and he would lose 3 cards. He only had 3 cards left. Now, he's not wiped out yet, but I have a chance to roll this 2-sided dice one more time, and I roll a hit. He clearly would have wiped out. I would have scored, if he couldn't do anything to cancel the attack, I would get this 10-point marker. He will then, since he wiped out, he will get a wipeout token, which is minus 20 points. And he will be forced to remove one of his accessories. Now, one thing I want to talk about, whenever you do damage, unless a card says otherwise, or a weapon says otherwise, if you do 4 damage, you get 4 cards in your hand. So basically, they're going to discard those 4 cards and you get to keep them. So you can get cards that way too. Okay, now we're going to talk about collisions, because they can happen in the game as well. Let's say pink card decides to go 7 miles per hour. So he's going to move 7 spaces, or as far as he can. You have to move the maximum number of spaces unless you hit something. So this guy is going to move 7 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't go to the other 2, so he's going to stop right there. And now what's going to happen is now this guy, black hair, was going at a speed of 5, and the purple car is going 7, but the difference is 40 miles per hour difference. So what you're going to do is, for every 20 miles per hour difference, a minimum of 1 die is going to be rolled, because you're always going to roll 1 die. So in this case, each driver is going to roll 2 dice. The black car rolled and got absolutely no damage on his vehicle. The purple one, he got 1 hit, so he's going to have to discard 1 rally card, the purple, for the collision. Now, normally, sometimes hitting cars isn't a bad thing, because you might have a weapon or something that says when you collide, the person does damage, not you, or something. But typically, collisions are bad. So, after you do that, you're going to take the average speed of both vehicles, add them together, and average total for a new speed. So, and that's going to be the new speed you're going to be going, because when you hit, each of you guys are going to slow down a little bit on the next turn. So if you guys are going, if one car was going 100 and one was traveling at 60, the average speed would be 80 miles per hour that you guys would be going at for the next turn. Okay, now I'm going to clarify some of these other tiles. There's some other tiles on the game, they have some special rules. Now, when you make a crash test and there's a cow in the spot, this one right here, you're going to add 2 dice when you make a crash test. So, if you're here and you decide to change lanes here, you're going to get 1 dice for the lanes change, plus additional 2 more dice. So, this one's... Now, if you have ram plates on your vehicle, you can totally avoid the cow hazard. So that's one thing. Now, another one, this is a really interesting one here. If you have 4-wheel drive, you do not have to suffer the penalties here. But the car's moving through this barricade here. The first player is going to have to roll 4 dice. Second player running through it is going to have to roll 2 dice, and third through 6th players are going to roll 1 dice. So on this particular tile, being first to this one is going to be bad for the player. Now another interesting one is this tile comes up. Traffic jam. Crash into space with the car, inflicts 1 die per 20 miles of difference worth of speed, just like every, and then your moving face ends immediately. So, and 4-wheel cars can roll no dice for debris and no hazard. Debris would be this car wreck here, and the oil thing says plus 3 die. That's a misprint on this one. This one is supposed to be 3 dice no matter what when you run over that spot, unless you have 4-wheel drive. So that one's a misprint, so I just wanted to clarify that. Now here's another one that going faster is beneficial for you, because if you don't go fast enough, you're going to be rolling more dice. For 20 to 6, you're going to be rolling 5. Unless you have the jump jets, roll no dice. So yeah, this game is really well balanced. So being in the lead, going faster is sometimes better, sometimes going slower is better. You just never know what you're going to get with these tiles. So yeah, that's pretty much about there. Okay, now like I said, when you get cards in the game is only if you have less cards. Now there's exceptions to that. There's cards like Cheerleader here that allow you to get rally cards by just playing this card during your turn anytime. Now besides cards that to avoid collisions, they have stuff that are protective, like the drag chute. You stop moving at any point during your movement phase, you can totally avoid a collision, and it's one-time use. You can play this card when you are involved in a bump attack or a collision. You get to counterattack the vehicle with a 5 dice of damage, so discard all lost rally cards, so you don't get the cards in your hand. And instead of you can make attack everybody instead of one person. You attack every other player in the game for 1 die of damage, and you get no other armor, so that's the other thing. Now we're going to look at some accessory cards in some detail. So going with the greens first. These are usually ones that protect you from harm, atypically. This one's a composite armor. You get minus damage from all vehicle weapon attacks. Interceptor rockets, minus damage from all missile attacks, and it tells you which ones. Ballistic armor, minus 2 damage from all projectile attacks. This one has specific ones, so it's not all vehicles, so it'll tell you which one's on that one. Now, for the one that's particular, this one's a different kind of one. This one's you roll 4 dice when this accessory is discarded in a wipeout. Every adjacent player and pedestrian takes the hits rolled. Pedestrians are removed with 2 more hits and added to your score total. Your opponent lost rally cards are added to your hand. Your game turn is still over and your speed is reduced to 20 miles per hour in a crash. But this allows you to, for every adjacent player and pedestrian, this one allows you to take out a lot of stuff, and it's so if you know you're going out, you might as well out with a bang with that one. Now we're going to look at a red one that defies normal stuff. This was an indirect fire one. You do not require line of sight to the target to attack them. So this is good for like tiles that allow you not to fight because not line of sight's blocked, or they're within range but not within your line of sight. Because if someone's around a bend on a tile around a corner, you can't shoot them, but with this you can. So you have to only shoot if they're directly in front of you. Line of sight is not allowed if you're if they're around the corner. It's got to be directly in front of you, or unless the vehicle says otherwise. Now we're going to look at some of the yellow ones. targeting computer. Reroll miss. Reroll all vehicle weapons attack if no hits are scored. It's just almost guaranteed. So you get a reroll on that. That's good stuff. Now we're going to look at some stuff to help you take out some pedestrians easier. We have prescription drugs, which allow you to run over a dog. I found this one funny. Stereo system. +1 die to score senior citizens. So another one is armor piercing rounds. This one you had +1 to all projectile attacks, and it tells you which one's for. And a turret. 360-degree fire. Fire the vehicle weapon in any direction. So this is something that helps you fire your other weapons. So that's basically everything else in the game. So that's it. So what I think about Roadkill Rally? Well, Roadkill Rally is a really good, fun game. It's really well balanced if you come to think about it. I mean, the rally cards are a really nice touch to your hit points because you'll be using them for everything. So it's like you're basically essentially weakening yourself down. So playing too many rally cards to score pedestrians could put you in a really bad position. Attacking too often, but because you got to discard ammo cards to put into the weapon of your choice. So it's really well balanced. There's a little bit of element of luck, a little bit of strategy. And the fact that necessarily just being the first to finish line doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win, because it's about how many points you score before you get to the finish line. And being that you don't necessarily know what the next tile is, going too fast could be really bad for you, as well as going really slow. There's a whole bunch of humorous type cards in the game. If the theme itself seems like it's too morbid for you, you can think of it as it's a post-apocalyptic war. These are zombies, and you're going to run them over instead of real human beings. But to me, it's just a tongue-in-cheek game based off of Car Wars by Steve Jackson and basically the Death Race 2000 original movie. So it's a really fun game. There's really nothing quite like it. There's a lot of strategies, and what strategies work this game don't work next series, because every time you play it, you're not going to get the same layout. And the finish line can come at any time, especially if you put it further into the deck somewhere. So anywhere between 7 and 20 tiles, or whatever you decide to do, you can increase or decrease the length. There's variants where if you get elimination mode, where you get 3 wipeout tokens, you're out of the race completely. There's a whole bunch of things you can do. It's loads of fun. I mean, it's definitely one I'm going to keep in my collection, and it's definitely going to see a bit of light time in future gaming things. And eventually I'll probably do a playthrough of this video so you guys can see how it plays with a group of people. So yeah, this is a good game, and I definitely would recommend if you're a racing fan, or you just like a whimsical game where you just, it's like crazy fun where you're just trying to run over things and stuff, because it's really good. That I really enjoy it. So thanks again for watching. If you have any questions, as I said before, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. Alright, bye.